Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to ITOM Batch 2, Day 31. How are you doing, Harish, today?
I'm good.
Good,
Thanks.
good to hear. So, Harish, before proceeding to today's session, any questions from the last session?
No, Ajay.
Sure. Okay, thank you. I think let me share my screen and let's get started then.
Sure, sure.
So, today till now we have discussed about the all domain related to that CSDM implementation. Today we are or I am going to be discuss about how the implementation will work. But we are not saying the implementation. Basically, we are saying how the framework will work while we are using the standard CSDM. We are following the CSDM standards basically, right? So how we get started with the CSDM, let's start with that first. So first of all, as ServiceNow always not recommended trying to implement the all element of the CSDM data model at once, right? It always says we have to be, you know, implement the CSDM slowly and gradually with phases, right? So like when we are implementing the project, when we starting anything new, we are implementing the project in the phase wise. The same here in the CSDM, we have the phases, which we called foundation, crawl, walk, run, and fly. So ServiceNow says we have to go slowly and implement those particular, phases in this particular way. And what we have to do in these phases, we are going to discuss a little bit deep into that particular things as well. As well as ServiceNow, all lots of based on decades of experience, it is not acceptable but highly recommended to follow that particular CSDM approach in the stage manner. If we are not doing right, we are not doing the correct thing. That same way we are if not implementing the project. If let's take an example. If we are implementing a project and where we have to implement the incident or sorry ITSM and ITOM, and if we started implementation of ITOM first, then we are not doing in the correct manner, right? First of all, the incidents or the ITSM should be implemented, or the CSDM should be built, or the CMDB is also be designed, what format what we are going to use. Then we are going to be implement the ITOM. The same way here, the CSDM is starting with the foundation, right? So in the foundation, basically, we are going to be discuss about, I hope it's visible. Let me little zoom. Yeah, so I hope in CSDM foundation phase, we are going to be focused on the reporting requirements as well as the core data, like how we are going to use the core data, how that will help out, what will our reporting requirements to achieve it, what is our end goal, right? We have to be finalized in the foundation. Then in crawl, we are going to be design or discuss with the stakeholders related to business applications, SDLC components, as application services, discoverable piece on and parts. Discoverable piece on parts means basically like how my application service will be populated, how my CMDB will be populated, those particular things we are doing in the crawl phase. Then we have walk phase. In walk phase, we are going to be discuss or we are going to be design CSDM like dynamic CI grouping, technical service offerings, technical services, service portfolios. We are going to be do that particular things, right? Then run, we are going to be discuss business service offerings in the business services. Then fly, we are going to be, design business capabilities, information object and catalog items, right? So these are the five phases which we are going to be, implement in slowly and gradually following that particular, CSDM staged manner, basically. Right. So let's start with the foundation. As I already mentioned, the primary use of the data is reporting, right? And we need to be consider reporting to relate our projects as well. So we need to understand what is our reporting requirement, what we want to be achieved using the CSDM implementation, and how that will be helpful for us. right? It's also, it's also critical that we have right data at the right time to facilitate the reporting and business decision we seek to make, right? Because foundation is something where we are talking or discussing about the data only, right? If the data is not correct, because end of the day, that foundation data is going to be used in each and every phase, and that we need to understand how the data looks like the same way we are going to be implement the ITSM for any customer. And if we don't know what which group that incident is going to be assigned, or the catalog is going to be assigned, or the same way which user requested for or requested by user is not there correctly, right? We are not able to fetch the user data, or if we don't have that CMDB for that particular incident, right? There is no use of the incident to be raising, right? So that must be designed, that must be discussed in the first phase related to the foundation data. Now in the foundation data, what things comes in the picture, we have already discussed a couple of times, but let's go through it as well. So out of the box tables, we have company, business units, department are provided for identification of internal business structure as well as the external customers, manufacturer and vendors, right? So when we are designing a company, basically we can define, okay, that particular company is a manufacturer or it's a vendor or it's a partner or it's what type of that organization it is, right? So we can easily understand how we are going to be populate that one, right? So company, the legal entities of either internal or external companies are populated in the company table. Basically, let me showcase you here in the instance core underscore company dot list. Oh, shit. Yeah. So when I click on new, here you can see if I put any company name XYZ, you can see that we have phone numbers, but we have it's a manufacturer or it's a vendor, right? We can select that one as well. And apart from that, if I go to back, not creating the record, let me showcase you the other things as well. There are lots of attribute like who is the vendor manager, vendor type is also there, right? Which we can manage. In the same way, we have you know the country. If the company belongs to a specific country, we can also put, right, what is a customer of X phone, right? And as well as the manufacturer normalize, it is normalized or not, that is normalizations comes in the picture for that as well, to be normalized the company name, right? Revenue, state, province. So that lots of attribute which we are going to be managed when we are going to be create company. And if I open just existing record as well, just to showcase you, see, so there is one Acer company which is the details is already mentioned here, but the manufacturer and vendors, these companies manufacture as well as the vendor, right? For whatever the customer we are implementing, as well as we also maintaining the product model as well. So that notebook battery model is this, which is consumable product model is part of that particular company, right? And we have vendor catalog as well, where we can requester come and request that particular catalogs or particular assets basically, right? So it's required to maintain the first step the company record, right? So we can easily identify it. As already mentioned here, note internal company may also be manufacturer. The vendor flag identified those companies are provided product that you procure. Not internal company may also be a vendor. So internal company may also be a manufacturer, or internal company may also be a vendor, right? So it depends that we are going to be managed here. Then second thing is business unit. So business unit is hierarchy of the business is populated in the business unit table with reference to the company they part of it, right? So business unit can be organization in charge of certain operations like finance, HR, IT, and so on, right? Just little bit, we have to be understand there are two things, department and business unit. Both are the different. Business unit can have multiple departments, right? Business unit is one, but under that business unit can have multiple department that can be possible, right? For if you see here, for large multinational companies, you have business units. They identify independent regional operations, then the specific operations within the SAT region that can be there, right? So let's open the business unit table and just showcase you. We have these particular business units. Let me showcase you the new form. Right. So what is the business unit and it belongs to which company? That also we can reference it, right? Who is the business unit head? What is the description of it? If it is a child business unit of something, we can also put the parent business unit as well, right? So that is there. Let me showcase you which is already created here, like finance is there, right? So as you know already, when we are normal, thinking about a business unit in any organization, finance, HR, IT, legal, marketing, sales, these are the standards business units, right? But if I talk about a alternative or a big organization size, then we have cloud business unit and support business unit, IT support business unit, HR or policies business unit, ethics business unit, office of the CEO is business unit, right? Different business units, and they define based on their naming conventions, right? So that we can define and we can align that particular business unit can be defined or which organization. As there is one organization example of, let's take an example of HCL. HCL is a organization which belongs to India, but that also running their businesses in different regions as well, right? So we can also do that, right? Might be in US they have different business unit and that belongs to HCL America, right? And if I talk about HCL UK as well, they have different business unit. That is different scenario there, right? So that's why its company is there. If it is belongs to HCL America or HCL UK, what is the name or what is the business unit head, we can also populate that particular thing here. That is a requirement for that, right? Now let's go back and department again. If further stratifications of your business unit are populated in department table, department provide another way to categorize user assets and CI, right? So business units, we have it. Under business units, we can have multiple departments and multiple departments can have, which help to categorize users, groups, assets, and CI. So if I go here in the department table, right? So we have departments now. So customer support, development, again, the department is naming convention looks like the same, but it can be different as well, right? So if you see, this is my department, this is my ID, this is description, who is the department head. Now, which users belongs to that particular department? Basically, it's the department is populated on that particular user table, right? So which users belongs to that particular department, we can also have the which particular visibility on that, it right? The same way, next is location. Location, out of the box table provided to identify a geographical position. A hierarchy of the location data can be created using the parent attribute. Such a hierarchy could include entries that match required level of reporting. Example, location is going to be follow or populate these particular table as per below's, like region, we have to be populate country, state, province, city, site, building structure, right? That must be required. And also if we want to go to a little bit more extent, we can also put like floor, rooms, data center, etc. Right? But the main thing to populate a location is these particular things we required. So let's open the location table, cmn underscore location. La. So we are on location table. Let me open it. Here, if as I mentioned, the name will be the location of the name. What is the street, city, put state, province, code, country, phone, fax, that is there, right? So as as mentioned here, we need to be focused on region, country, state, province, city, site, building, or structure. That particular things attribute we have to be focused while we are maintaining the location, right? So if I open one location just to showcase you, which is already created, right? See, so they have put it this one. This is the exact address of that particular location. What will be the street of it, right? What will be the city of it? What is the state of it? What is the postal code of it? What is the country of it, right? That all things I will populated here, and automatically it will create a full name of this particular location, right? And if we have longitude or latitude, that we can populate, but that's not that much required, right? So that is the basic things which we are going to be populate in foundation. Give me one moment only.
Sorry, Ajay.
Sorry, Harish. Yeah. So then we have groups. As you know already, groups is also required to be managed, like managed by, owned by those particular, or support group basically, right? So again, that we have a group table where we are going to be manage the groups, which help to perform tasks like approving change requests, resolving incident, receiving email notification, or performing work order task as well, right? And group are used to referential data in CMDB such to identify management of the CI, like managed by group, support of the group, right? So that will be there, right? So if already, might be you're already aware, but let's open group table as well just to showcase you. See, so a group table is sys underscore user underscore group, then where we are going to be manage the groups basically, and where we are going to be manage again the group name, group manager who will be, group email will be, right? And if it is, this is a child group, what is the parent group of it, right? If we want to be populate that particular, like that particular group is using for the support purpose or something, we can also put a hourly rate as well. And apart from that, as you know, like we have to provide the rules to group instead of the users directly, right? So rules will be there and group member will be there, so that's from existing from the user table, right? So that will required to manage. Again, as I mentioned, that will be required to manage to resolving incidents, receiving email notifications, as well as who is managing the CI support groups, right? So when that particular informations or foundation things we have it, we can easily able to manage that particular things, right? Then users out of the box table mean to identify individuals that have access to ServiceNow instance. That users can be, organized within the groups associated to company, business units, and departments, right? That is there. Already, it's sys underscore user table. It's for the users we are going to manage. Then we have CMDB groups, which we have already discussed, like out of the box table to mean to identify collection of the CI using queries or manually populated CIs, right? CMDB groups become a critical element of the dynamic CI groups and the strategic management of the CI. So if we have foundation data ready, then we are going to be the next step in the dynamic CI group. In the third phase, we are able to populate the correct reporting or correct CMDB groups for the dynamic CI group. So in the first step, we have to be see how the CMDB is populated. If yes, then we have to be get ready for the CMDB groups to do that particular things as well. Then product models, as I already described, like this is also one of the good one of the must required table which we have to be managed to maintain our product models, right? So if, as already discussed, let me open the product models. These are my product models basically, right? Now it depends that particular product model belongs to which, like we have these type of product models, like it's hardware, software, facility, contract, consumables, right? If I take an example of hardware, yeah. So who is the manufacturer of it, right? Then basically model categories, it belongs to consumable or hardware or something, right? That we have it. Apart from that, if we are going to be managed that, as a depreciation value, salvage value, acquisitions method, what is the model number, barcode, honor of that product, basically, right? That is something we are going to be stored in the product model table, basically, when we are going to do that, right? So that is also required to identify that particular, the CI belongs to which product model, which product model number, which model category, right? So if I open an example of it, like let's take an example of Dell INC software, right? So see, that informations we have it, that is model categories computer, means it's a computer type of device. If it is a server, that we can also populate it, it can be a computer, it can be a server as well, right? What is the name of it? It will be this, and this the name that, based on the product model, when we are running discovery, that particular things will be populated based on model, basically manufacturer and the name, right? That will be displaying on our, when we are creating any assets, or when we are creating any discovery, and that will be populating based on that as well, right? So that is also required. And now if you see, based on the product model, we have that particular asset, right? What is the configuration item, that is also available here? What is the vendor catalog, that is also going to be managed, right? So if we are able to manage those particular basics things, then we are good to on, foundation data to next proceed to the next step, right? Then same, we have contract, which is, identifying a binding agreement between two parties, right? That is also going to be populate if we are going to be use a service provided by vendor into the CMDB. It's valuable to consider the use of contract when measuring against contractual service level agreement, right? So if we have a vendors, then we are also going to be use the contract, right? And it help to understand what the SLAs they are doing, is they are able to do in the correct way or not, right? So that contract is also one of the thing which we are going to manage in the foundation data, right? So any question in that, Harish? Because that are the basics foundation component, which is also not for the CSDM, but when we are going to be implement ITSM, when we are going to be implement ITOM, that is the basic things which we are going to be maintain to populate the data correctly in the CMDB as well.
Yeah, actually, most of the tables I'm familiar with, but one doubt here: the product model will get automatically updated in the instance by the vendor itself, right? Service now on weekly or bi-weekly. I heard.
Right, that will be updated, but if something is not there,
Yeah, we
right,
can add.
we can add it, right? So it's our responsibility. If something new, hardware or software or any type of things we are purchasing, that we should update that product model table correctly. If that is correct, then we, everyone have a visibility about our models, product models, which is available in our organization, right? So that is required basically. And as you mentioned, the service now is updating, that is, updating weekly basis, right? So that is there.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Okay, so here now in this particular one, we have updated this particular foundation table, foundation data, right? Which we have already discussed now. What is the value of the foundation? As you already know, like, that foundation table, foundation is going to use company, business unit, department, location, groups, users, CMDB group, product model, and contract. What is the value of it, right? Foundation for many ServiceNow product and the Now platform. First thing, early alignment to the reporting requirement will expedite data model value realization and reduce or eliminate costly rework to align data or reporting requirements. That is the basically things which we can, which where the foundation, will comes in the picture and help out. Get my point? Now the next is crawl. So crawl with, like it's already mentioned, with a quick goal of win, with a win within ITSM, we recommend a focus of application. You learn above, ServiceNow has three locations for application related data, right? So which is three? Basically, we have CMDB CI APPL, then CMDB CI business app, and the CMDB CI service auto, right? APPL, you already know, that is is populating through the discovery. You should not populate that CMDB CAPP table manually, right? This is a and this will be populating when we are running discovery, and you already know, like, it's an operational CI using in IPC, discoverable installation of code communicating over a particular port, unique deployment of an application on particular host, example database instance, Java, WebSphere, and Tomcat, right? Business applications where it's a logical part, right? It's not an operational CI. It's not used in the incident problem chains, not version specific, right? And contains metadata about the business application. So it's a logical part which we are representing based on their environments basically. And the application service, again, it's a logical representation of the deployed system or application stack. So means application which is part of it, that can be part of that application service. It's an operational CI focus on incident problem change, may be created for each environment, unique instance for an application may be created per region. And there are different ways to populate that application service, right? So if I came here as a business application, out of the box table in the CMDB mean to house your inventory or portfolio application at their metadata. This is not an operational CI and should not be used in incident problem chains, right? If I open business application table here just to showcase you, right, there are two ways to open it. See, so this is my business table, and if I click here, this is just a normal table where we are going to be CMDBCI business, where we are just going to be managed. What is the business process it belongs to, right? What is the authentication type if we are using? What is the architecture type we are using? Installation on cloud or on cloud and all, right? So that is completely logical. It depends on us how we are going to be managed, right? What is the step, status of it in production or implementing, life cycle stage, platform, on which platform that application is built, what is the technology stack on which using that is built, right? And again, the contract, who is the vendor of it, support vendor, we when the contract now you can realize if we are managing the correct contract, now we are able to populate this one, right? This particular table. Honor, if we are managing the correct groups, then we are able to manage the business owners and IT application owner, which is mandatory, right? Compliance, business criticality, classification, confidential or not, emergency tiers, and then we have activities, work notes we can populate here, right? So if the foundation data is correct, we are able to manage those particular things without any issue, right? Department is also there, right? If you see, if we are managing the correct department, then we are only able to populate that particular business application is part of which, right? The same business unit is also there. It belongs to which business units. We can also populate that then only when these particular things are correct, right? So let's go back to this. Then SLDC component, right? SLDC component is just an optional that is not required to use, you know, most of the time. It's optional, but to as use the SLDC component, we need to use or we have to go with the CMDB and need to be enabled CSDM schema app version 1.33 in the from the app store basically. Then we have SDLC component is available, right? And meant to represent the software part of element of a larger whole for application and infrastructure. And if we are, if we want to manage that software development lifecycle chain, then we are going to use it, but it's optional. This is not an operational CI and should not be used in incident problem change basically, right? It's optional completely. So it depends on us basically. Then we have application service. Application service we have already mentioned, like which is deployment of related SDLC component or business applications, right? So if we are using business applications, that we can do now, we can connect that business applications to that application services. This is the particular infrastructure we are going to use related to their environments like dev, QA, and prod. That will be part of the application services. Now you can see the application service is the glue that tie all the element of the CSDM together where applications are present. If the application service are not correct, this is, this is the correct line they have mentioned. It's a glue basically, which tying the all elements of the CSDM together. right? So that is the application. Then we have applications again, out of the box table since the start of the ServiceNow CMDB. This is not table for your inventory applications. Now you have to be understand inventory and non-inventory. Inventory is something which we are maintaining in the business application. This is logical names completely. Whatever we want to put, we can put it, right? But the application table is not an inventory application that is populating through the discovery, and the name which is coming here, that is populating based on the CI which we have discovered and what the name is available there, like Tomcat, Apache, Web, uh, web servers. There are different type of web servers, Java applications, right? So that will be populating through the discovery. So it's not an inventory application, first of all. And it is meant to represent the discoverable instance of an application that code related or a process running on a host. It is a technical CI created or maintained by the discovery. Right, I hope you are able to. And no, manual population of the application table is not recommended. We should not manually populate the application table, right? So if I just to showcase you cmdb underscore ci underscore appl dot test. See, here we have lots of things. Apache, web server, IBM app, WebSphere, application, LDAP, Active Directory. These are my applications. Different classes is there, but end of the day, they are populating in CMDB APPL table. If I group by this, you can see lots of classes, email servers, that everything is coming from the discovery. We are not going to be managed manually those particular things, right? If I open this, just
All of
one.
them are discoverable, right, Ajay?
Sorry, come again.
All of them are discoverable. Like
Yes.
nothing in the applications we have to manually enter. Everything in our infrastructure would be discoverable.
100%. Right. So again, it depends if we have out of the box pattern available or not. If not, then
Oh,
we can design a process classifier, and then we can design a custom pattern as well if that particular application is not discoverable out of using the out of the box patterns that we
understood.
have.
Yeah, yeah, I got an idea now. Yeah, yeah. And
So that is there basically, right? So we can do that. Or now you can see this application IBM WebSphere, we are capturing the name, version, and operational. Couple of times we are also getting from the discoveries TCP port when it's installed, right? But that is related to these particular IP switches. Everything is, that relationships which you are able to see that is running on which Windows server. This is running on this particular Windows server, right? So we are able to see that information as well. That running on which Windows server, which endpoint it is using, which if it is running on Linux server as well, that you can also see this is running on the Linux server as well, right? How it's implemented, right? Using the JES, Apache web servers, right? How that is connection. So everything is discovered and populated here. Which IP switch is going to be connect, which router is going to be connect. That is everything is discoverable, right? And if I just to showcase you the dependency map, see, here you can see, right? And top of it, you can see that other informations like how that is going to be connected to other components. Basically top of the component is this, and downstream component are these. Basically it's connecting to the IP switch, it's connecting to the particular Linux server, and then it's going to be connected with this IP switch, and that's going to be connected with the router. Here it's going to be connected with IBM WebSphere MQ, then it's going to be connected this, and then Windows server is there, right? So everything is there that is coming from the discovery, right? So that is not required to be or not recommended to manually populate applications in the CMDB CIPPL table. Okay. So here in this particular phase, we have discussed about SDLC component, business applications, application services, and under application service, the infrastructures, what will be the part of it, right? Then the next phase is the crawl. Sorry, basically, what is the value of the crawl? Let's discuss on that one. So it's minimum CMDB requirement to provide ITSM. incident problem change. It's required. If that, we are not populated the business applications or application service or infrastructures, we cannot provide the support to the ITSM, right? Foundation for future APM use. When you license and utilize APM, your business application data will already will be right place, which will improve your implementation velocity of the APMs. Foundation of the future DevOps use. If it is, we are not able to populate the correct things, that we cannot use the SDLC component if we want to use it, right? Foundation for future service mapping use. If we are not populating correctly, that we cannot use the service mappings, right? It, if we have, license for service mapping, we should update or populate those particular things. Foundation of technology portfolio management. Foundation, future product for enhancement to enhance existing products, right? So these are the basic, value adds when we are going to be implement the crawl phase. And again, as I mentioned, we have to go step by step. So we have to be discuss all customer with the customer, how many business applications you have it, how they are running, which stack they are running, what the data or what type of application it is, on which cloud or sorry, which infrastructure that is running. Then application service comes in the picture, where we are discussing automatically, like after service now discovery, when we are discussing like how which application service part of which business application, how that is going to be connect to each other, right? So that we are doing. Any questions in it, in the crawl phase?
No.
Okay, thank you. Now next we have walk phase, where we are going to be discuss about deployed application and infrastructure need someone to manage or support them. Many of the services populated in customer instance today are technical in nature. The next natural build out of the CSDM focus on the management of technology services. Then technical services and technologies service offerings comes in the picture. Technical services basically out of the box table in the CMDB mean to identify the provider of the technology that your business consumes, right? And the technology service offerings is something which where we have broken into options, including localization and geography, environment, pricing, availability, support group, technical approval groups for change and packaging options, commitments, right? So offering is nothing, just offering, like, we have a technical service XYZ, but XYZ is a broader level. It's a high or big technical service. And under that, we can define what the XYZ is offering based on the locations. We can split on that, right? So based on the locations, environment, pricing, that technical service offerings or technology service offerings comes in the picture, right? And note, if you see, the all technical service offering may have to relate it to application or infrastructure CI. Some offerings may be provided by managed service providers. So here, if you see, we have technical service XYZ. Under that, we have couple of offerings, and then again going to be connect with application service and infrastructure the same way, right? The same, we have technical service offerings. Again, that is going to be connect with the dynamic CI and connect with the infrastructure. Here, technical service offerings, then connect to the technical service offering, and that should be part of that some infrastructure as well, right? So here, and the third phase, we are mostly or main going to be focused on managed technical service part. Here, dynamic CI groups comes in the picture as well, where out of the box table mean to identify dynamic grouping of the configuration item based on the some common criteria. One or many use of the dynamic CI group is collection of the configuration item managed by the particular technical service offering that we are going to use here. And dynamic CI group, again, you remember the CMDB groups is there, right? So if CMDB groups we have defined in the foundation data, then it is very easy or useful to use in dynamic CI groups as well. Right? The value of the walk phase is management of the configuration items. So here, when we are defining, we can understand who are that, technical owner, or I can say technical CI owner is our particular CMDB or infrastructure, right? Managing manual metadata on the objects that support group, technical approval group can be by texting, right? Establish a new establish a view of those CIs that are technical team supports, right? So if we are, when we are designing that managed technical group or technical service, the technical team also have visibility which CI we are managing, what is belongs to R. Like if let's take an example here, we have in a big organization, we have 20 Windows team, and they are working on their 20 Windows team. They are working on their application or something, right? How you can differentiate that particular 20 Windows team belongs to these 20 groups, right? And they are supporting to these particular these particular CIs only. The technical services, the view they will provide, these are the servers or the list of the CIs in your team which you are supporting. Then we can differentiate, right? Based on the naming, based on the department, based on the BU, right? So that's required to populate that one. Technical services comes in the picture to give that particular view to them. Otherwise, different LOBs, different support team, different Windows team that there, and they don't they're not able to identify that particular CI belongs to whom. The same way, when any request come to be do anything on that particular one, they are going to be confused it who are going to be worked on it, and that not going to be assigned to correct team to be worked on it, right? So that is there. And also, it's allow for additional stratifications for their support structure along with lines of OL and commitments. Basically, if that particular view we are able to do that, then we are able to manage that what is the OLA and commitment for that, right? A different team, different OLAs. Might be one team is working 24/7, one team is working for 8 to 5 only, and one team is working from 12 p.m. 12 p.m. IST to 9 p.m. IST, right? So that depends to define that particular OLAs as well. Then it's foundation of future service portfolio management. When we are going to utilize the SPM, your service data will already in the right place if that is there. Technology service offerings may be ordered through the request catalog. So offering means, if, as I mentioned, offering is just something where technical team is something offering, right? Technical team something offering. Example, increase the RAM, increase the hard disk. So we can order that particular offering through catalogs. If that we have built in that way, they can come to, end user or stakeholders come to that, on catalog, they can order, or they can, put a catalog request, "Okay, I need to increase the RAM," but where they need to be increase the RAM, which technical service, which CI they need to be increase the RAM, that comes in the picture here. Then it's foundation of ITOM product such as service mapping and discovery, and more automated method of grouping CI for identification and management by technical service offerings, right? Might be, in technical service offering, that can be possibility key, two technical service offering managed by X team, but two technical service offering managed by Y team. So that is also give that particular identification and management for to that particular teams basically. Any questions in that one? Walk one. Good.
Yes, Ajay. Actually, I'm unable to unmute. Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Nice. Then we have next phase is run, where a critical element of ITSM is understanding the impact technology can have on the business. The business may consume and technology provided, right? The next build out of the CSDM focus sale and consume. As you learn above, ServiceNow has three tables that identify seller and consumer of the technology. Then we comes in the picture is business service portfolio, business service, and business service offering. Again, business service portfolio is not a CMDB table. Business service portfolio is a hierarchical categorization of business services, product and services, basically. That's it. Then business service, out of the box table in the CMDB mean to identify strategic business value that may utilize technology infrastructure. Now, business service is something here which may utilize that particular component. Application services can be, technical services can be, or that infrastructure which is depend on it, right? That is there. So such a dependency result in the business service selling consume said technology infrastructures basically. Then business service offerings are the starting point of the configuring service portfolio management. Business service offering consists of one or more service commitment that uniquely define the level of service in the term of availability scoping. This is again the technology service offerings. This is the same like that. Here we are just, splitting down or break down that business service in the different offerings. And again, business consumers can come and raise a catalog request and, use that particular offerings basically. So here in this particular one, the run phase, we are going to be design this particular sale and consume domain basically. What is the use of it? Again, impact assessment of incidents. So basically impact assessment of application is happening on the business service. End of the day, the technical services, application service, the infrastructure which we are using here, it's going to be support the business service, right? So it help to identify or assessment of the ITSM is incident problem change. With an incident or change, you can identify the impacted business service and offering, assuming relationship exit between selected CIs and the impacted services. Then lay of foundation of the service portfolio management, right? That service owner workspace, deliver a workspace where service owners can monitor service portfolio and effectively gain an overall understanding of the service related things, basically. Right. Then third is lay of foundation of ITSM plus capabilities, right? So we can easily identify and populate the related subscribe by table on service offering to identify more than what business is impacted, identify who is impacting. Business service offering can identify subscriber by user, company, location, department, and group. So if I say, in broader level, if I say we have a business service, HR or IT or onboarding to offboarding, right? How we can identify? We can identify through the technical service and applications, right? End of the day, that particular business service, which is the broader level, onboarding to offboarding, that is running under any infrastructure only, and any impact on the infrastructure, then we are able to identify that business service is going to be impacted. That particular offering is going to be impacted by that, right? So that will be there that we can easily identify here. Any questions in that one? The run one, run phase.
No, Ajay.
Okay. Then last phase we have fly. So basically, to reaching out the fly level, it take lots of time because it like I'm explaining each thing in 1 hour, but while we are going to be implement, definitely it will take, couple of months to be implement. And discussing here or presenting here is something easy for me. But when I'm going to be do the same implementation for customer, I need to be, lots of time doing brainstorm with the customer to understand their requirements. What is the end goal he wants, right? What is the reporting things he wants? Then we are going to be step by step to implement those things. We are going to check that their foundation data. Then we are going to be discuss about the business applications. Then we are going to be discuss about the application services and all of the things, right? Now the last thing is the fly. The complete CSM 3.0 made available in the fly stage. Mothers always said, don't bite off more than you can chew, right? So this is the correct line which is mentioned. Like always, mother said, don't bite off more than you can chew, right? The CSDM is no different. Reaching the fly stage means you have accomplished all your most of the foundation, crawl, walk, run recommended approach to the CSDM framework. The last stage of the CSDM build out, finishing the remaining element of this. As you learned above, ServiceNow has 3 tables. We have 3 things, that is request catalog, not a CMDB table, business capability, and the information object. So it's beginning in with New York service offering may be requested through the request catalog only. Right, business capability is a high level capability that organization requires to execute its business model or its fulfill mission. Right, it just in other words, if I say business capability is just something BU. As I mentioned, in business units, we have lots of departments and lots of things. The same way, Business capability, we have lots of applications, business applications, and it will showcase this is the full this is the mission of a business model which we need to be execute. And then we have information object. Information object is nothing but it's just something where we are business applications may going to be used process such that PII, PCI and HIPAA processes basically. Right. So here in this particular fly phase, we discussed we this particular business app capability, information object we have decided, and request catalog is also there, right? This one. What is the value of the fly again? Fly phase will be focusing on the two out of the box tables, then business capability and information object. Additionally, request catalog capability with service offering are valuable. Here, list of the foundation of APM capabilities will be there. List of the foundation of APM with SPM capabilities is there. APM, you understand, application portfolio management, right? That is also we can use, and then SPM is there, right? And what I feel application portfolios looks like the same, the CSDM only, where we are going to be manage these particular tables only, technical services, application services, business applications. These are the things basically there, right? Then we have a list of the foundation of ITSM, for ITSM plus capabilities, manage business service in your environment as service owner with a combination of CI from each of the CSDM domain. Identifying the type of the data may be contained used within your business applications. That is going to be help out in these particular things basically, right? And also mention here, the information object table may be required sooner in your data model implementation. Your business requirement should determine the right stage for implementation of the information object table. So what they are trying to mention here, information object table is not required to be used in the fly phase. It depends on the model, or it depends on the requirements while we are discussing with the business. It can be implemented in early phase as well. It depends on us basically. So any questions in that one? So as slowly and gradually we have to be move out to implement the CSDM basically. And the last thing which is here, relationship in the CSDM. Service now CSDM model says, or the framework says, we should use that particular relationships only to get the correct information. Basically, configuration management is not effective without the use of the relationship between the CI. Not all object in the CSDM 3.0 conceptual model are CMDB tables. Additionally, not all the objects have relationships. Now, this identify the relationship utilize. And this is very simple, right? When we are going to be create anything, so business capability can have relationships provided by with business application. Same business capability has a relationships provided by with business service. Business application have relationships used by information object, because business application is going to use by PII or HIPAA and other processes, right? Business application use reference attribute with business application. Business application contains SDLC component, right? SDLC component contains, and again, these two things are optional. Application service. Business application consumes application service, because under business application, we are going to be, map relationships with the application services, right? Application service depend and send data to application service. Application service depend on applications. If my application data is not populated, that is depend. That's why application runs on infrastructure CIs. That application runs on the infrastructure CIs that I just showcased you already on Windows Server and all, right? Technical service is technical service offering reference. Technical service offering contains application service. So these are the relationships which we have to be managed while we are creating, right? So that is ServiceNow products such as APM have a critical dependency on the relationship listed above. If these relationships are not utilized, then functionality such as technology, portfolio management, risk assessment will not function, right? And additionally, the relationships commonly created as a part of ITOM service mapping and ServiceNow discovery are considered the standard infrastructure CIs. When mapping these elements manually without ServiceNow discovery, it is best to consider what would discovery do, right? If my infrastructure CIs, application services, technical services, and other things, you know, is not discovered, or the infrastructure CI is not discovered by ServiceNow, and if we are trying to do manually map, we should also consider what would discovery do before doing any manual creation of the infrastructure CI. That is the most important thing which we have to focus, right? This is something migrating to into CSDM. I think that is not that much required. And tomorrow, what I will do, I have a couple of things which I just want to present you here. I can see. Let me close this. So tomorrow, I think we'll close the CSDM for particular. I will I will showcase you how a you know example of how a SAP financial hierarchy will be look like model, how that will be showcased to you. So we'll discuss on that part. If you are able to see on my screen, like portfolio, we have financial management, then these particular things we are going to be creating service now to showcase you how that will be, how other service offerings, other business capabilities will be connected to each other. So we are going to be design or discuss these particular things tomorrow practically in the service now, right? So this is all about that, functional knowledge, if in simple words I say, for CSDM. Any questions, Hari, still now in these particular things?
Nothing in this one, Ajay. Uh, Ajay, I have a question. Like, what are we discussing after the CSDM? Is it event management or
Yeah,
service management?
event management. First event management and then service mapping.
Oh, okay. How many
From
classes are around event
I,
for event
I
management and?
I will the 10 classes more, for 5 classes for the event management and 5 classes for the service mapping.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it might be, it can be extended, depend on, like you can see the CSDM is also extended to this time. So
Yes. Yes.
my plan is to be complete on day 30, but we are already in day 31 and tomorrow we have 32, right? So it's already
Yeah.
extended 2 days. So might be that will be extended 1 or more 2 days. That's why.
That's fine. Yeah. It is fine actually. If it is approximately 5 or 6, actually it doesn't matter. I just want to know which what we are discussing.
Event management is going to be start from the Monday.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Yeah. So, okay. So anything else, Harish? Any questions? Any
No.
doubt? I can help out. Any suggestions if you want to add, feel free to add it to me.
Sure, Ajay.
Yeah.
Nothing at all right now.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I think we'll connect at the same time and we'll discuss further for that, practical side of CSDM basically.
Sure.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.